So that's why the 15 Pro is vastly different than the 12 Pro. You gotta believe me. Hi. Yes, I was just telling Abe Lincoln about how everyone is just saying that the 15 Pro is just like the 14, which is just like the 13, which is just like the 12. So that's what we're here to prove today. I was also telling him about how I'm able to carry everything I'm filming today's video on in this sling bag from Moment, but more on them later. I think the main reason that people think that there isn't much difference is because all they see is exactly what they see. So probably this year, most people are just like, what's the big difference? USB-C? That being said, the uniformity amongst all devices, and there being really only some minor tweaks, comes with pros and cons. Like, yes, it's kind of boring and negative and it just looks like the same every year, but like, there is such a thing as too many cameras. And I honestly think about 5 is probably the max. Like on the Samsung, there's 5 cameras on that device. I watched a front page tech video this morning and there's a rumored 7 cameras on the iPhone Ultra. And in the mock-up shown, that's some nightmare fuel. So do you really want more cameras? No, you don't. So even though there may not be anything physically different, there is a lot different when it comes to the insides. Unrelated, local farmers market is happening literally just feet away from me. I'm hoping it's not picking up in the audio, but let's talk about whether or not it's actually worth upgrading to this phone. First and foremost, whether or not you should upgrade is entirely up to you, and just because there's a new device out there, do not feel pressured to update. If you're out here still rocking an iPhone 8, 9, whatever, and you're totally fine, by all means, don't upgrade. If you're thinking upgrading is gonna make you a better mobile photographer or videographer, that's an absolute lie. Sure, you might get a higher quality sensor out of your phone, but that doesn't make you a better photographer, videographer. If anything, you need to be using your camera and fully learn how to use it. In fact, I was just watching a video from Terry Warfield and he was like, man, I really want to get into like mobile photography, videography. I think I'm really up for that challenge. And I'm sort of like, that's a challenge? There are people out here doing that every single day. They are shooting photos, they're shooting videos and editing entirely on their phones. They don't have computers, they have this. Then if anything, you can get additional gear to add to your phone to up your photo video quality game. For example, you can get a ND filter mount and ND filters. These I specifically got from Moment, who sent these over to me for free. So thank you, Moment. If you're looking into these and you like how everything looks after I've shown you, then there will be a link down in the description where you can purchase this or the sling bag. Please note those are affiliate links, and if you do use those, I do earn a little bit of commission. But you can use ND filters to get your phone to be more like how a camera operates, because a camera, like I'm shooting on with the R5, you can adjust your aperture. On a phone, you can't. If you use the default camera app, then it's going to choose whatever shutter speed for you, and it's just going to do all that automatically. If you download something like the Blackmagic camera app that just came out, designed more specifically for the iPhone 15 to take advantage of that ProRes log, you can choose your shutter speed and learn how photography, videography works and how all those nitty-gritty details that us photographers, videographers think about, and apply that to your phone. But before I go applying this, we really should be doing some side-by-side comparisons of the 12 versus the 15 if people are claiming that they really are truly the same. With the way it is outside right now, I honestly think this is probably a solid test of these cameras because it is kind of light and dark. It is a very cloudy day, so you kind of have this bright cement with the dark clouds, so you can see how well the colors are handled or not handled. I am also using the default camera app So a lot of the settings are being chosen for us. Now I am filming in 4K 24 frames a second, but you can see how these cameras handle and how much they've changed over the last 3 devices. The one thing I'm noticing so far is that with the 12 Pro it looks more blue, and the 15 Pro looks a little bit more warm, which isn't a problem, it's just something I'm noticing. Color-wise, there is certainly a difference in how the colors are reproduced. But also the ability to focus is also really interesting. I'm having to like manually tap over on the 12 in order for it to shift. It's not really auto shifting. Now this is a test of the front-facing camera. On my right I have the 12 Pro, and over on my left I have the 15 Pro. I will say the front-facing camera does not look that much different. I'm trying to put that red, little ounce of red in the shot just to compare it with my face tone. So that's what the front-facing camera looks like. I'm just gonna do a brief little spin just because the light is like right over there. So I will say I don't notice a whole lot different in the front-facing camera. I think it's the back where we really see the most different. So now I wanted to get a quick shot of the front-facing camera with ProRes log, which I believe is so freaking cool that we get ProRes log on the front-facing camera. I did use Tyler Stallman's conversion LUT to adjust for proper color and proper skin tones. I also did download Dave Altizer's, and I'll link both of those below as well. Now I still thought Tyler Stallman's was better, but it made my skin tone look more orange. But if I have a hunch, he probably corrected the ProRes log format for outside, whereas Dave formatted it more for inside under tungsten and all that type of light. All right, this is my first time using action mode, and I've seen some wild things, so I'm gonna run back to my camera over there with a filter in hand, and we'll see how stable this looks afterwards. I'll be honest, I have no idea where I'm at in this video, but what I do know is that this would not be a complete test if it weren't for a low light comparison. Just my initial reactions, it's like, again, the whole point of this video, it's the inside that matters. The 12 is not the same as the 13, the same as the 14, it's the same as the 15. Image processing looks sharper in low light, so let's do a quick video test. On the left I have the 12 Pro, and on the right I have the 15 Pro. It's weird because I feel like the whites are also more accurate on the 15 Pro. Now let's go ahead and get a look at that selfie camera. You know, like I kind of knew there'd be like a difference, but I didn't think it would be that different. The low light on the front facing camera is just miles better. Honestly, didn't think the front facing camera would be that much different, but it's definitely different enough. Now I wish I could do a side-by-side comparison using the Blackmagic camera app that just came out, but I only have it installed on my 15 Pro and failed to get it installed on the 12 Pro. But honestly, I just want to use this to explain what I mean about using stuff like ND filters to improve your mobile photography, videography game. If I open up the Blackmagic camera app, you can see just how heavily overexposed I am. That's because we are able to control our shutter speed and all that stuff. So if I take this here mount, I'm also filming in ProRes. Once I slap on this filter here, I'll show you what that looks like. So then this just slides right over the cameras, and then we just twist the knob, get that locked in. Now, if you're planning on shooting photos or videos, specifically video, then I suggest that you open up the app you want to film in first, get all your settings dialed in, and then put this on, because once you get this on, you're going to be blocking a couple settings, and that's true if you have the 15 Pro or the 12 Pro. So then once that is nice and tight, then we can take our 67mm thread ND filter. I have this one from Moment, and it is a variable ND. It is a 2 to 5 stop, and it looks like you can also add additional filters on top of this if you wanted. So then I'm going to go ahead and screw this on here, and we're going to set that to the lowest setting, so it's on ND4. But now you can see that I am more properly exposed, and my settings are already really low because, again, there's some bright and there's some dark, so you can see how more accurately exposed I am. Okay, so that's why I looked heavily overexposed, because I was in log. But this app does take advantage of the new Apple log in the 15 Pro. So I just wanted to show you without the log, and now I'm going to switch back to log, and then we can dial in our settings. So if we don't want our 4,000 shutter speed, we can drag it back down to that 1/50 since we are in 24 frames a second. I want to see how close we can get to being properly exposed. Okay, so we will have to up our shutter speed, unfortunately, just because I am over at 32, and ISO, actually I can lower my ISO. So I'm a little closer to being properly exposed. I am still at 1/2000 for my shutter speed, because I believe this is a 2 to 5 stop ND filter that I have. So if in this particular situation, I would want something in the 6 to 9 range, because again, with phones, you can't change your aperture, whereas on the R5 I can. So that's where you will need an ND filter if you're wanting to get that golden 180-degree shutter rule, where if you're filming in 24 frames a second, then you need to be using 1/50 as your shutter speed. Unfortunately, given the situation, I can't. But I'm going to show you roughly what this looks like. So we'll do a quick film test, and you can see why ND filters are so important if you're trying to up your photo video game with just your phone. I don't know what's going on with the app, but I am using the Blackmagic camera app. I set my shutter to be 1/1000, and I started recording, tapped to focus, and now it says my shutter is 1/33. So I don't really know what's going on there, but that's what it looks like with the 2 to 5 ND filter from Moment. I am all the way up at, I believe, the 5 stop, so it's looking pretty good. And that's why there's an inconsistency in this video, but more importantly, why you absolutely do not need this phone unless you're an absolute camera snob like I am. Thanks for watching my YouTube video on the internet. What do you mean it hasn't been invented yet? Right. Awkward.